I'm watching as all of these emotions are being entered, and certainly I think literally everybody looks at the television night in and night out and has a sense that there is something horribly wrong, and to see so much anger and pain and all the words that are going into the chat right now. But I wanted to talk a little bit, share a little bit about my personal reaction, because in some ways it's a little bit different. Uh, my feeling, sadly, has been a certain level of sameness. It just seems like I've seen this story over and over and over again. And of course, I've been involved in this work a lot longer than probably most of you here, and I can remember my time at Washington University and how I managed to get to that school. I got to that school because of a group of Black graduate students took over Brookings Hall, and they made a demand that the university allow Black students to enter. Now, Washington University did an outstanding job with all of us. But one of the things that I really remember starting that university was that letting us in was actually easy. We're going to talk about inclusion today. Letting us in Washington University was easy. Helping us and making sure that we grew and that we could succeed was the idea behind that work. And so when we went, we had things offered to us because they wanted us to be able to succeed. Here's my frustration. I have been driving now for nearly 50 years. And for 50 years, I have never given much thought at all to being stopped by a policeman and immediately putting my hands in plain visible sight on the top of the steering wheel. I've just never even thought about it. I don't have any friends that wouldn't do exactly the same thing, and most of them don't think about it. Because see, I grew up in a time when that was just natural. We weren't really angry about it. We just understood that that was something that we had to do. And that is the sad part, that it never bothered me, that I never questioned why it was okay for it to be like that. Black comedians have been telling jokes about police beating up Black people for 60 years. And the sad thing is that it has always been funny. Until somebody said to me just the other day, well, why was that funny? And you know, I don't have a good answer what made that funny. So that's the sameness and that's the sadness. But here's the positive part. When I look at these crowds now, when I see what's going on, I see a difference. I see Black police chiefs and Black mayors, and I see a Black attorney general in Minnesota. I see people of all stripe, all race out protesting to make things different. Our job today is to start thinking about what can we begin doing inside of our organizations to bring this whole thing, to continue this change. Because to suggest that nothing has changed would be wrong. Police have been trained and trained and trained and trained. And is there a difference? Absolutely. There is absolutely a difference. Are we nearly where we need to be? Not even close. But there has been a change. There has been a change in behavior. We have to continue on that line. I would like for you to all think about what we do inside of our organizations. Inside of our organizations, those things out there happening about disparities and social injustice, those things are all in our, quote, circle of concern. The things that are important to all of us, and yet they're not part of our day-to-day habit. After we're exhausted from protesting and crying and being angry and upset, the question for everybody in every organization is what will you be doing on a day-to-day basis? How will you affect change? Not how you will advocate and not how you will march, but how will you produce inclusion inside of your own space? Will you have the ability to start reaching out to the other, whoever the other happens to be for you? That's what this program is about today. We want to have us not thinking about the circle of concern where things are distant. They are happening, but they're happening slowly. We want to think about the right now moment where each and every one of us can be different. And so we're going to handle this program today with all of that as a backdrop. And yet we're asking everybody on this call today to start thinking about what you personally can do right now inside of your organization to make it better for every single employee that works there and for all of their families, because each and every one of them go out and touch somebody else's life. And with that, I'll turn it back over